Here's a question I get a lot. What really separates good leaders from great ones? I believe it comes down to two things: ethical decision-making and emotional maturity. Let's talk about ethics first. Every day I'm faced with choices, some easy, some tough. The real test isn't knowing what's legal, it's knowing what's right. When I act with integrity, even when no one's watching, I send a powerful message to my team. Trust is our foundation. But being ethical isn't just about following rules. It's about creating a culture where everyone feels safe to speak up, even if it's uncomfortable. Now let's talk about emotional maturity. Leadership isn't about always being the smartest person in the room. It's about being the most self-aware. That means recognizing my own triggers, managing my emotions, and responding, not reacting, under pressure. When I stay calm in the face of stress, I give others permission to do the same. Emotional maturity also means empathy. I try to really listen, to understand, not just reply. Because when people feel heard and valued, they bring their best selves to work. So if you want to lead like a pro, start with yourself. Make ethical choices your North Star. Grow your emotional maturity. Your team will notice, and together you'll do work you're truly proud of.
Beam, you're really leaving without even telling me first.
I'm sorry, boss. I should have told you earlier, but I think this is a great opportunity for me.
And what about me? I've supported you all along, pushed for your promotion, and even encouraged you to apply to this new company. Without me, would you have even gotten this chance?
I know that, and I truly appreciate everything you've done for me, but at the end of the day, this is my decision. I need to grow and take this step on my own.
How far do you think you'll go without me? Don't forget, everything you have now is because of me.
You look stressed. Everything okay?
A little. Just feels like something's still unresolved.
Move forward, Beam. You're here now. Focus on your future. Use this opportunity to prove yourself.
You're right. I need to keep moving forward.
Beam, I'm truly disappointed in you. You're really leaving knowing that I couldn't go with you.
Boss, I respect and appreciate everything you've done for me, but this decision is about my future.
I hope you don't forget who helped you get to where you are.
I never will, but it's time for me to move on. Beam was at a significant moment in his professional life. He was a highly capable employee, consistently delivering excellent results. His manager, a figure he viewed as a mentor, recognized his potential. The manager had invested time and energy into Beam's development, offering guidance and championing his work within the company. This support culminated in a formal promotion offer, a clear signal of the company's faith in him. It was the kind of validation every dedicated professional hopes for. For Beam, it represented the success of his hard work and the strength of the relationship he had built with his leader. This moment should have been one of pure celebration and straightforward decision-making. However, life rarely presents such simple choices. At the same time, an external opportunity had emerged. This new role was not just a step up, it was a leap. It offered a significantly better package, greater responsibilities, and a career trajectory that aligned more closely with his long-term personal ambitions. The pull of this new path was immense, promising accelerated growth that his current company couldn't match at this time. Beam found himself caught in a classic dilemma. On one hand, there was a clear path forward within a familiar and supportive environment. On the other, a riskier but potentially far more rewarding future beckoned from outside. The central conflict for Beam was not just about comparing two job offers, it was deeply emotional. He felt a profound sense of gratitude and loyalty toward his manager. This person had been more than a boss. They had been a guide, an advocate, and a mentor. The thought of turning down the promotion felt like a betrayal of that trust and investment. The manager had personally vouched for him, and rejecting the offer could reflect poorly on them. Yet, his personal career goals were pulling him insistently in another direction. He knew logically that the external offer was the superior choice for his future. This created a powerful internal struggle between his loyalty to a person and his loyalty to himself. In this state of internal conflict, Beam made a critical error in communication, or rather, a lack of it. Fearing a difficult conversation and perhaps hoping to avoid disappointing his manager, he kept his job search a secret. He went through the interview process for the new role, received the offer, and accepted it. Only then, with his decision already made and his departure sealed, Did he inform his manager? He announced his resignation instead of opening a dialogue. This lack of transparency transformed a professional decision into what felt like a personal blindside, setting the stage for a difficult and emotionally charged transition period. The manager's reaction was not what Beam had hoped for. The initial response was one of shock, which quickly curdled into palpable disappointment and hurt. From the manager's perspective, this was not just the loss of a valuable team member. It felt like a personal rejection. They had invested emotionally in Beam's success, seeing his growth as a shared journey. The promotion was meant to be the culmination of their joint efforts. Beam's abrupt resignation, delivered without any prior warning, felt like a repudiation of their entire mentorship. The manager's emotional brain, or amygdala, likely perceived this as a social threat, triggering a defensive and negative response. This initial hurt soon began to manifest in the manager's behavior. The supportive, open-door mentor Beam had known seemed to vanish overnight. In his place was a person who was distant, formal, and at times passive-aggressive. Meetings became tense, and casual conversation ceased. The warmth that had defined their relationship was replaced by a professional chill. This change was a clear sign of emotional hijacking, where the manager's feelings of betrayal overrode their capacity for rational and empathetic leadership. They were unable to separate their personal feelings of disappointment from their professional responsibility to manage an employee's departure gracefully. The most troubling change was the manager's new narrative about Beam's success. In team meetings and in conversations with other leaders, the manager began to subtly and sometimes overtly claim credit for Beam's growth. Phrases like, "I taught him everything he knows," or "he wouldn't have gotten that offer without the platform I gave him," became common. This was a classic defense mechanism. By attributing all of Beam's achievements to their own mentorship, the manager was attempting to regain a sense of control and diminish the sting of rejection. It was a way of reframing the story to protect their own ego, but it unfairly undermined Beam's agency and hard work. Beam was left in an incredibly awkward and emotionally taxing situation. He was trying to manage the practicalities of his departure while navigating this new toxic dynamic. He still felt a lingering sense of gratitude for the genuine help his manager had provided in the past. Yet, he also felt resentment and frustration at being placed in this position. The manager's behavior was a poor display of emotional intelligence, demonstrating a possessive form of leadership rather than a supportive one. It highlighted a crucial lesson. A true mentor's goal is to empower an individual to succeed, even if that success leads them down a different path. The first and most critical lesson for Beam in this situation is the power of transparent communication. His mistake was not in choosing a better opportunity, but in failing to manage the communication around his decision. Had he approached his manager earlier, not to ask for permission, but to share his thought process, the outcome might have been different. A conversation framed around his career aspirations could have allowed the manager to feel like a respected advisor rather than a spurned boss. For instance, he could have said, "I deeply value the promotion and your support, but I've also received an unexpected offer that aligns with my long-term goals. Could I get your perspective?" This approach honors the relationship while affirming his autonomy. Secondly, Beam must learn to manage his gratitude without letting it become a cage. Gratitude is a powerful and positive emotion, a cornerstone of healthy social bonds. However, it should not be weaponized by others or used by oneself as a reason to sacrifice personal well-being and ambition. Beam's loyalty to his manager was admirable, but it should not have overshadowed his loyalty to his own future. The key is to distinguish between appreciation and obligation. He can and should always be thankful for the mentorship he received, but that appreciation does not require him to cede control over his own career choices. Setting this internal boundary is a vital act of self-awareness and self-regulation. For the manager, the lessons are even more profound and center on the principles of non-possessive leadership. A leader's role is to develop talent, not to own it. True mentorship involves preparing employees for their next great role, wherever that may be. Seeing an employee's departure as a personal failure is a sign of an insecure ego. Instead, it should be seen as a success story, a testament to the leader's ability to foster growth. A manager with high emotional intelligence understands that their influence is a gift, not a transaction. They find satisfaction in their employees' success, celebrating their new journeys rather than resenting them. To prevent such situations, organizations can implement training that moves beyond theory. Role-playing exercises can be incredibly effective. Placing managers in scenarios where they must respond to a star employee's resignation can help them practice empathetic and professional responses. Group reflection sessions, where leaders can share experiences and discuss challenges in a safe environment, also build collective emotional intelligence. These methods help internalize the principles of supportive leadership, teaching managers to handle difficult conversations with grace and to respect the individual autonomy of their team members, ensuring that mentorship remains a positive force for all involved. In the end, this story reveals a fundamental truth about professional relationships. Gratitude is the respectful acknowledgement of help received. It is not a debt that demands repayment through personal sacrifice. Beam's feelings of thankfulness were valid and important, but they should have served as a foundation for a mature, honest conversation, not as chains holding him back. Using gratitude responsibly means expressing it sincerely while still honoring one's own needs and ambitions. It is about saying, "Thank you for helping me get here," while confidently taking the next step on the path that is right for you. This balance is a hallmark of high emotional intelligence and personal maturity. The manager's actions, driven by hurt and ego, serve as a powerful cautionary tale. When a leader conflates mentorship with ownership, they do a disservice to their employee, their organization, and themselves. Misusing authority by taking undue credit or becoming emotionally manipulative erodes trust and poisons the workplace culture. It reveals a leadership style that is fundamentally self-serving. This behavior not only damages the relationship with the departing employee, but also sends a chilling message to the rest of the team that their individual growth is secondary to the manager's ego. This is the antithesis of a healthy, productive environment. True leadership is not measured by an ability to retain employees at all costs. It is measured by the ability to inspire, develop, and empower them. A great leader finds pride in seeing their protégés succeed, even if it means they move on to bigger and better things elsewhere. Their legacy is not in the team they keep, but in the successful individuals they helped launch into the world. This mindset requires a deep sense of security, empathy, and a genuine commitment to the well-being of others. It is about understanding that the ultimate goal of mentorship is to make oneself progressively less necessary. Ultimately, the responsibility for growth rests with both the individual and the leader. An employee must have the courage to pursue their path with transparency and integrity. A leader must have the wisdom to support that journey with grace and selflessness. When both parties operate with high emotional intelligence, a departure is not a betrayal, but a natural and positive evolution. It becomes a testament to a successful relationship, one where gratitude is freely given and growth is genuinely celebrated. This is the essence of leadership that creates a lasting positive impact.